Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is the Bodega Cat Book Club Health Edition, and we're starting a new book today. It's called Your Body's Many Cries for Water by F. I'll call him Dr. B because I don't know how to pronounce that name. It's got the word Batman in it, which was pretty cool, I think. Anyways, his tagline is or his subtitle is You're not sick, you're thirsty. Don't treat thirst with medication. And I'm gonna have fun reading this book. I think I read this many years ago, but I don't remember actually. So it'll be nice to read it again. All right, let's get to it. Uh, I hope you're enjoying our book club so far. We have several books that we've put up on YouTube, so you could check out our YouTube channel. You can also check out our other book clubs as well. We have the spiritual book clubs on Mondays and then financial book clubs on Thursdays. And check out our website. We have a monthly newsletter that we put out, podcasts that we put out once in a while. I interview interesting people. I think they're interesting anyways. So, um, and then check out our merch. And if you have any book recommendations, let us know. Email us and let us know. We'll be happy to read it. Um, we like to read classic books that have been around for a while, and usually the author is no longer with us on the earth plane, just so um, yeah, just so we don't violate any, what do you call it, copyright. But if we have to, we'll get the copyright. Get permission anyways. Okay. All right. Anyways, and lastly, if you're in the LA area, come visit us in the Healing Center, where we use scalar wave technologies for healing. These are technologies that's based on Nikola Tesla's work, the great scientist. Okay, let's get started. Chapter 1. Why medicine doesn't cure disease. Many professionals do not understand the vital role of water in the human body. Medications are palliatives. They're not designed to cure the degenerative diseases of the body. In this book, we will discuss the role of water in the body and how a brief understanding of this topic can transform the health needs of our society. We will learn how preventive medicine can become the main approach to healthcare in any society. The hero of this book is water. We will look at every explanation with the view that water is the primary substance and the leading agent in the routine events that take place in the human body. We will look at some disease conditions with the primary role of water in mind. The missing role of water in physiological situations that will eventually become disease conditions will be discussed. In the diseases to be discussed, a possible initial role of water metabolism disturbance will need to be excluded before we assume these conditions to have been caused through other processes. This is true. This is the true meaning of a preventive approach to healthcare. We should first exclude the simpler causes for disease emergence in the body and then think of the more complicated. The simple truth is that dehydration can cause disease. Everyone knows that water is, quote, good for the body, yet we seem not to know how essential it is to one's well-being. We do not know what happens to the body if it does not receive its daily need of water. After reading this book, you will have a clearer understanding of this issue. The solution for the prevention and treatment of dehydration-produced diseases is water intake on a regular basis. This is what we will define in this book. We will discuss why, in a majority of cases, the conditions are to be viewed as dehydration-produced disorders. With the simple intake of an added amount of water every day, you can beat many diseases. You should seek professional help if the adjustment to the dietary needs of your body does not help and a medical problem continues to trouble you. What is offered here is the needed knowledge for prevention and cure of dehydration diseases. By the end of the book, when the relationship between chronic dehydration and disease emergence has become clear, information is provided on the needed adjustments to daily water intake and the complementary diet to prevent, quote, dehydration diseases or even cure them if a totally irreversible situation has not developed. The basics. When the human body developed from the species that were given life in water, the same dependence on the life-giving properties of water was inherited. The role of water in the body of living species, mankind included, has not changed since the first creation of life in salt water and its subsequent adaptation to fresh water. When life on land became an objective, a gradually refined body water preservation system had to be created for further species development. This process of temporary adaptation to transient dehydration also became inherited as a well-established mechanism in the human body and is now the infrastructure to all operative systems within the body of modern humans. For the earlier water-dwelling species, adventure beyond their known boundaries constituted great stress, lest they dry up. This stress established a dominant physiology for crisis management of water. In stressed humans, exactly the same translation and physiology of crisis management of water becomes established. The process primarily involves a strict rationing of the water reserves of the body. It is assumed that water supply for the immediate needs of the body will be limited. Management of the available reserves of water in the body becomes the responsibility of a complex system. This complex multi-level water rationing and distribution process remains in operation until the body receives unmistakable signals that it has gained access to adequate water supply. Since every function of the body is monitored and pegged to the flow of water, water management is the only way of making sure that adequate amounts of water and its transported nutrients first reach the more vital organs that have to confront and deal with any new stress. This mechanism became more and more established for survival against natural enemies and predators. It is the ultimate operative system for survival in fight or flight situations. It is still the operative mechanism in the competitive environment of modern life. One of the unavoidable processes in the body water rationing phase is the complete cruelty with which some functions are monitored, so that one structure does not receive more than its predetermined share of water. This is true for all organs of the body. Within these systems of water rationing, the brain function takes absolute priority over all the other systems. The brain is 1/50th of total body weight and receives 18 to 20% of blood circulation. When the ration masters in charge of body water reserve regulation and distribution become more and more active, they also give their own alarm signals to show that the area in question is short of water, much like the radiator of a car giving out steam when the cooling system is not adequate for the uphill drive of the car. In advanced societies, thinking that tea, coffee, alcohol, and manufactured beverages are desirable substitutes for the purely natural water needs of the daily stress body is an elementary but catastrophic mistake. It is true that these beverages contain water, but they also contain dehydrating agents. They get rid of the water they're dissolving in, plus some more water from the reserves of the body. Today's lifestyle makes people dependent on all sorts of beverages that were commercially manufactured. Children are not educated to drink water. They become dependent on sodas and juices. This is a self-imposed restriction on the water needs of the body. It is not generally possible to drink manufactured beverages in full replacement of the water needs of the body. At the same time, a cultivated preference for the taste of these sodas will automatically reduce the free urge to drink water when sodas are not available. Currently, medical practitioners are unaware of the many chemical roles of water in the body because dehydration eventually causes loss of some functions. The various sophisticated signals given by the operators of the body's water rationing program during severe and lasting dehydration have been translated as indicators of unknown disease conditions of the body. This is the most basic mistake that has deviated clinical medicine. It has prevented medical practitioners from being able to advise preventive measures or offer simple physiologic cures for some major diseases in humans. With the appearance of these signals, the body should be provided with water for these rationing systems to distribute. However, medical practitioners have been taught to silence these signals with chemical products. Of course, they have zero understanding of the significance of this most gross error. The various signals produced by these water distributors are indicators of regional thirst and drought of the body. At the onset, they can be relieved. They can be relieved by an increased intake of water itself, yet they are improperly dealt with by the use of commercial chemical products until pathology is established and diseases are born. It is unfortunate that this mistake is continued until the use of more and more chemicals to treat the other developing symptoms and complications of dehydration becomes unavoidable, and then the patient dies. The irony of it is that they say the patient died of a disease. What a clearance for their conscience. Silencing the different signals of water, shortages of the body with chemical products is immediately detrimental to the cells of the body of the person being treated. The established signal producing chronic dehydration also has a permanently damaging impact on the subsequent descendants of the person. I take pleasure in bringing to your attention breakthrough knowledge in medicine that can benefit every person who may fall ill, and especially the elderly. In short, my paradigm change in basic human applied science will establish a physiology based approach to future human research and simplify the practice of medicine all over the world. The immediate outcome of this paradigm shift will be to the health advantage of the public. It will expose the newly understood signs of dehydration in the human body. It will also decrease the costs of falling ill. The paradigm that needs to be changed. What is a paradigm and how does it change? A paradigm is the most basic understanding on which new knowledge is generated. As an example, the earlier understanding that the earth was flat. The new understanding is that the earth is round. The roundness, there's a big debate about that. By the way, just a side note, there's a lot of flat earthers out there. I don't really care one way or the other, but anyways, the roundness of the earth is the basic paradigm to the design of all maps, globes, recognition of stars in the sky, the calculations for space travel. Thus, the earlier paradigm for holding the earth to be flat was inaccurate. It is the correct understanding of the earth as a sphere that has made advancement in many fields of science possible. This change in paradigm is basic to our progress in many fields of science. The shift in that paradigm and the transformation it brought about did not occur easily. Adoption of a fundamentally significant new paradigm in the science of medicine is more difficult, even if the outcome is highly desirable and desperately needed by society. The source of error in medicine. The human body is composed of 25% solid matter, the solute, and 75% water, the solvent. Brain tissue is said to consist of 85% water. When the phase of inquiry into the workings of the body began, because the scientific parameters and a very broad knowledge of chemistry had already become established, it automatically became the assumption that the same understanding that were developed within the disciplinary of chemistry applied to the body's solute composition. It is therefore assumed that the solute composition is active. is the reactive regulator of all functions of the body. At the very onset of research into the human body, the water content of the body was assumed to act only as a solvent, space filler, and a means of transport. The same views that were generated from test tube experiments in chemistry. No further functional properties were attributed to the solvent material. The basic understanding in today's scientific medicine, which has been inherited from an educational program established at the dawn of systematic learning, also regards solutes as regulators and water as only a solvent and a means of transporting material in the body. The human body is even now regarded as a large test tube full of solids of different nature, and the water in the body as a chemically insignificant packing material. In science, it has been assumed that it is the solutes, substances that are dissolved or carried in the blood and serum in the body, that regulate all the activities of the body. This includes the regulation of its water, the solvent intake, which until now has been assumed to be well regulated. It is presumed because water is freely available and one does not have to pay for it, that the body has no business falling short of something that is easy to obtain. Under this erroneous assumption, all the human applied research has been directed toward the identification of any one particular substance that can be held responsible for causing a disease. Therefore, all the suspected possible fluctuations and variation of elemental changes have been tested without a clear-cut solution to a single disease problem. Accordingly, all treatments are palliative and none seems to be curative except for bacterial infections and the use of antibiotics. Hypertension is not generally cured, it is treated during the lifetime of a person. Asthma is not cured. Inhalers are the constant companions of the afflicted. Peptic ulcer is not cured, and acids have to be nearby all the time. Allergies are not cured. The victim is always dependent on medication. Arthritis is not cured. It eventually cripples, and so on. Based on this preliminary assumption of the role of water, it has become a practice to regard a dry mouth as a sign and sensation of body water needs, which are further assumed to be well regulated if the sensation of dry mouth is not present, possibly because water is abundant and free. This is an absurdly erroneous and confusion generating view in medicine and entirely responsible for the lack of success in finding permanent preventive solutions to disease emergence in the body, despite so much costly research. I have already published an account of my clinical observations when I treated more than 3,000 peptic ulcer sufferers with water alone. I discovered for the first time in medicine that this classic disease of the body responds to water by itself. Clinically, it became obvious that this condition resembled a thirst disease. Under the same environmental and clinical settings, other disease conditions seem to respond to water by itself. Extensive research has proven my clinical observations that the body has a variety of most sophisticated thirst signals, integrated signal systems during regulation of the available water at times of dehydration. My research has shown that the paradigm that has until now governed all human applied research must be changed if we wish to conquer disease. It has become clear that the practice of clinical medicine is based on a false assumption and an inaccurate premise. Otherwise, how could a signal system for water metabolism disturbance be missed or so blatantly ignored for so long? At the moment, dry mouth is the only accepted sign of dehydration in the body. As I have explained, this signal is the last outward sign of extreme dehydration. The damage occurs at a level of persistent dehydration that does not necessarily demonstrate a dry mouth signal. Earlier researchers should have realized that to facilitate the act of chewing and swallowing food, saliva is produced, even if the rest of the body is comparatively dehydrated. My scientific views in medicine were peer-reviewed before I presented my paradigm change information as a guest lecturer at an international cancer conference in 1987. Dr. Barry Candler's letter in this chapter, printed with his kind permission, further confirms the validity of my views on chronic dehydration as a disease producer. As you will see, Dr. Candler has even studied some of the important references to which I have referred to explain that chronic dehydration is the root cause of most major degenerative diseases of the human body, diseases whose cause was not clear until now. Refer to any medical textbook and you will see many pages of verbiage. And when it comes to giving the reasons for the major diseases of the human body, the statement in all cases is uniform and very brief. Etiology, unknown. That just means unknown origin. They don't know where it came from, what caused it, things like that. Just a side note there. Naturally, chronic dehydration of the body means persistent water shortage that has become established for some time. Like any other deficiency disorder, such as vitamin C deficiency in scurvy, or vitamin B deficiency in beriberi, or iron deficiency in anemia, vitamin D deficiency in rickets, or you name it, the most efficient method of treating the associated disorders is by supplementing the missing ingredient. Accordingly, if we begin to recognize the health complications of chronic dehydration, their prevention and even easy early cure becomes simple. This is the letter that the author was talking about. So let's read it. This is Manhattan College in Riverdale, New York City. I wonder if you guys could see it. I'm going to move the camera in a little bit so you could see it better. Oops, the other way. Other way. Okay. So this was, I think it's from the Manhattan College to the College of Mount Vincent. I'm not sure, but anyways, uh, this letter was written. I don't know who is it to, where is it from. So, anyways, it's two colleges are involved, so the two professors are involved. One of them is in Manhattan College in Riverdale, New York City. Riverdale, New York. Okay. 10471 from the Department of Biology, College of Mount St. Vincent campus. Hmm. And then the other one is College of Mount St. Vincent in Riverdale, New York, 10471, and there's a phone number there. And this letter was dated June 20th, 1994. And looks like this, okay, this is addressed to the author, Dr. B. I call him Dr. B. And that's his address in Virginia. And the letter reads, Dear Dr. B, I'm going to move the camera a little bit here. Okay, so it says, Dear Dr. B, I had the opportunity of reading some of your publications concerning the significance of adequate hydration and the role of chronic dehydration in the etiology of disease. While perusing this material, I carefully examined many of the references that you had cited, especially those in your paper published in Anti-Cancer Research. 1987 was the year, and I don't know what the other numbers mean. Maybe volume and page, could be. And in your subsequent paper in volume 1 of Science in Medicine Simplified. Every reference that I checked was properly used to support your hypothesis that a paradigm shift from a solute-based to a solvent-based body metabolism is warranted. I conclude, based upon study of your revolutionary concept, that its implementation by healthcare professionals and by the general public is certain to have an enormous positive impact, both on well-being and on healthcare economics. Accordingly, I will do all that I can to publicize the importance of your findings. Yours truly. And this was signed by Dr. Harry S. Kendler, PhD, Associate Professor of Biology. The word got cut off there, Manhattan College. He adjunct faculty professor, adjunct faculty member, graduate nutrition program, New York Medical College. Oh, that's interesting. There is a nutrition program in the medical school. Hmm. When you talk to doctors, they said they hardly have any classes on nutrition at all. That was pretty interesting. So that is the end of chapter 1. Well, it's got an interesting start. He lays it out, his premises pretty well. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that and hope you will join us again next week. In the meantime, like I said, check out our other book clubs, newsletters, podcasts, merch. Check out our YouTube channel and come visit us at our healing center when you get a chance or when you're visiting, when you're in the area. In the meantime, I hope you guys all have a great day and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye now.